Hello everybody, Mike Stokes here with Wild Alive University, and today I want to talk about something that's been really important on my path. These videos are, they basically encompass two realms of life. One is how to be more sustainable in the world, make the world a better place. And then the other is how for you to be more personally effective in that pursuit and be happier and healthier and more vibrant along the way. So today I want to talk about, I think I'm hesitant to make a catchy title about it, but I think I'm going to just sort of go for it. The short route to enlightenment, or I guess I would say the lazy man's route to enlightenment. Not even the lazy man's, but just the easy way. So enlightenment is this, it's right. What is the root of enlightenment? It's light, and you're becoming light. So what is that? That's a feeling of lightness in your body and in your mind, in your spirit, and that comes from a certain freedom in relationship to your circumstances in the world around you. So I have a very simple practice for you that pretty much sums up most of the work that I've done over the years. And I think is a really great, if you're just starting off on a self-awareness path, and a path of being a better person and having a better life for yourself and for others. If someone had told me this, I'd have been really, really helpful. So here, without further ado, the basic idea is respond rather than react. So what does that mean? That means that, when you get in a fight with your partner or with somebody down the street or with your neighbor, and then you take an instant action, that instant action is a reaction. Almost all meditative disciplines and spiritual disciplines have you cultivate what you call, what's been called the silent witness inside. And so if you're cultivating this silent witness inside, that basically requires you not to react. Because in order to be a witness of your own self, your own mind, your own being, you have to pause. So often what I'm trying to do these days in a practice, the thing that I love about this practice, you don't have to stop, you don't have to meditate, you don't have to do anything, you can do it all day long, all the time. So let's say somebody says something nasty to you, and you instantly, say something back, or you flip them off, or whatever. Then the thing to notice is like, oh, I just went straight into reactive mode. Nothing wrong with that. All meditative practices, and this is another thing I find that people really miss about meditation, say, I can't meditate, I can't stay focused. That's what meditation is. Meditation is noticing that you're not focusing on what you're focusing on and then going back to focusing on it in a relaxed way. So in the same way, when you notice how reactive you are, you're just like, oh, there it is. I just reacted. And the moment that you notice that you reacted, you've become more responsive and more aware. You've become more aware. So then you just keep going through life and just, oh, I reacted. And then either in the moment, like if you can take another action and just kind of, let's say you flip somebody off in traffic, you just put your finger back down and wave, or a question. So what I like to do at this point is ask myself a question. What, given who I am, who I want to be, who I see myself as, how could I have responded in a way that's consistent with the self that I see myself as? Is the self that I want to be the guy who flips people off and yells at them in traffic and then stays mad for half an hour? For me personally, that's not who I want to be. I want to be someone who can just brush it off, not even worry about it. But I don't want to be someone who's leaving injustices that's letting injustice happen in the world. I want to do something about it. So if I think about it, the driving in traffic isn't a very good example, but let's say I got in an argument with my spouse. So for example, I got in an argument with my spouse, and it was a little one. I wanted to take all the weeds out. I call them weeds. He calls them pretty plants that were growing into the gravel driveway. They're going from the garden to the gravel driveway. She wants to keep them there because she likes the way they look. And then for my personal aesthetic, I like to have the clean border. For her aesthetic, she likes to have the plants and more of the jungle look. So my instant reaction was, I didn't yell back, but I got angry, and I felt like I wasn't being, like I had all these ideas that I wasn't being honored for all the work that I'd done. I just done a ton of work in the yard to try to make it better, and she started seeing the things that she didn't like about it. So that was reactive. I didn't take any external action other than I kind of started to, sulk and look away, and so that was the external action I took. So being who would I be if I was responding to that? If I was responding to that, I would clearly communicate what my desire was, find out what her desire was, and then try to find a way that we could both get our desires met. And then, if it's not, if we can't get both our desires met, then to figure out, is this something I really want to fight for, or do I want to let it go? And do I want to fight for something else that's more important to me? So those kind of questions, like how could I be more responsive in this situation? How could I actually try to produce a result? Another way of saying that you're being responsive is that you're being solution-oriented. So the reactive mind is rarely ever solution-oriented. So if you focus on finding solutions to these various trigger points where you've been triggered in life by your spouse or your neighbor or your boss or the amount of work that you have, or how early you have to get up, or how you have to hold the baby an extra half hour because she's crying, whatever those things are, the more you ask yourself that question, am I reacting right now? That's number one. Am I reacting right now? Okay, I just reacted. I totally reacted. And then asking, what could I do to actually create a solution? By asking yourself, what can I do to create a solution right now? You've instantly moved out of the reactive mode and into the responsive mode. So, people often think that meditation and all these spiritual disciplines is about removing yourself from the world. That's one way to do it. I don't think that that's a very fun or exciting or interesting way to do it. For me, it's more interesting to see how I can live in the world and be the best self that I can be. It's the principle of the Bodhisattva versus the Buddha. So the Buddha is somebody who transcends reality and then moves out. He ends the cycle of birth and life and then moves out. The Bodhisattva, in the legend of the Bodhisattva attains enlightenment. And then instead of just opting out of the cycle of birth and death, and these are all legends, I'm not attached to whether they're true or not. They're wonderful archetypes which teach you how to live in the world. So the Bodhisattva goes and decides, after he or she has attained enlightenment, Kuan Yin is another manifestation of what they call the Bodhisattva. That's the more Chinese element of it, Chinese mythology of it. They decide that they're not going to end their cycle of karmic birth and death. They're going to stay within the field of suffering and pain that all humans and all beings live within. And they're going to use their insight to help the world for eternity. So basically that's what I think is, I wish that more and more people would do that. So that would be my wish for you, is that you choose to say yes to the world, not try to get away from it, but try to be in it in the best way that you can, serving the highest happiness, health, and universal well-being for all beings. So I think that's enough about response versus reaction. The basic, to sum it up, basic idea is we're all reacting all the time. So notice when you react. Practice noticing when you react, because you're not going to notice all the time. And then when you notice that you react, ask yourself the question: how could I have reacted differently so that next time when I'm faced with a similar situation, I can respond in a way that will promote the solution that I'm moving towards? I believe in getting wisdom from all different types of sources. I'm currently reading Kevin Hart's book,
life lessons. You can't make this up, life lessons. And, he comes from obviously a very different background than I was, raised in suburban, rural Southern California. He was raised in the, in the ghettos of Detroit. But I see a lot of wisdom in the way that he's approached his life. And he talks about the shoulder shrug, where he just sort of lets it go. And then instead of focusing on what's not working, trying to find the solution. That in and of itself will make you more mindful, will make you more enlightened in your life. So you don't have to go away on a 40-day fast, although that does have its benefits. They do. To challenge yourself is very powerful. But if you just keep noticing when you're reacting, try to find a solution for that situation, then apply it to the next situation, you will go miles towards making your life better, making yourself happier, producing better results, being healthier, wealthier, wiser. So I hope that's helpful. I'm going to try to do this. I'm trying to figure out these end notes things. So if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel. That button should be down there. If you want to watch other videos, press the play next video list, and then there's other ones you can see other than the one that's suggested. And then if you'd like to receive the email list. Oh. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, and we will catch you next time.